Hey there, welcome to the how-to video for the roller coaster project. We've got a lot to cover, so check out some of your materials and a few examples before we walk you through just how we built this one right here. This one right here is actually the one that we'll be demonstrating. Your very first step is to take your cardboard sheets and arrange them in whatever orientation you envision as the base for your roller coaster. For this example, we went ahead and just did a large rectangle. After packing them as close as you can to each other and taping along the creases, you'll be surprised at how sturdy it actually turns out to be. Then, you're going to want to take the foam squares, or the plastic cups that we include, and glue them down on the corner and on the bottom middle to raise your base up a little bit. Shortly, we're going to be poking some straws through the bottom in order to get our roller coaster going vertical. This is going to make that step much easier. What's also neat is you don't have to make your base in the rectangular shape that we did for this example. You can make it tall or long, depending on how you want your coaster to be experienced. You know we love the engineering design process and brainstorming your design before you actually start building. And for this project, we'd like you to sketch down on your base the track that you want your coaster to follow. Speaking of tracks, you're going to find it much easier if you can build some large ones towards the beginning that you can use throughout your build. The large straws will serve as the side of the tracks, while the pre-cut small straws are the perfect length to glue them apart. We are going to be dropping down a ping pong ball down our coaster, so this will make sure that it doesn't fall through, but is also stable. This method you see right here is how we like to connect our straws. We cut a small line into the end of one of the straws, squeeze it to make it smaller, and stick it through the end of another straw. Here we are in fast motion, cutting, pinching, building, and connecting our tracks. The final product is looking good. We mentioned the pillars earlier. Make sure you're good at this technique because that's exactly how we're going to build those as well. Use your included pencil to poke some holes into the base of your coaster. That is where we're going to stick the pillars. Another great use for those pre-cut small straws is to determine how far away to poke those holes from. If you measure using one of those small straws, it should be a perfect length for you. And once you have them in there, go ahead and reinforce them with some hot glue so we can make sure that they're not going anywhere. And when you do poke those holes, give the pencil a little twist to make sure it's big enough for those straws to fit through. Now it's time for one of the fun parts, to attach our tracks. And remember, we always need to keep it slightly sloping down so the ball doesn't get stuck. These glue dots, which are now zoomed in on, are going to be one of our best friends. Simply peel them off the sheet and attach them to the side of the pillars or the track. They will easily hold everything in place until you're officially ready to go, and you can hot glue things to make sure they're nice and sturdy. While you're hot gluing, please do your best to keep the hot glue off the top of the tracks. It can be hard to remove and can also interfere with the roll of the ball. Next up, you're going to run into one of the challenges of this project, making your roller coaster turn. It does follow a similar process though. The first step is you want to make some new pillars. This time, you'll only need one set though. Our favorite glue dots are going to come in handy again when we connect the tracks to the new pillars and also the outside straw to the new inside straw. In case you forgot, that section of track came from the larger piece that we already made. We just cut a section to our desired length for that turn. Here's one more quick view of how we can use those glue dots and the pillars to pinch things together until we're ready to officially go with hot glue. We really encourage you to test out your coaster along the way. When we did that here though, we found that our ball went straight through the turn. So how do we fix that? Well, we grabbed a different color straw and made a bumper type mechanism that not only stops the ball from going over, but also points it in the right direction back down the slope. All it took was gluing two straws together and then gluing them to the track. And check that out, it worked like a charm. Friends, remember, we love when you get creative, so feel free to put any of your ideas to use. These are just a lot of our tips that we found success with. As we continue to finish out our design and follow the path that we drew on our base, you'll see a lot of the same things. After the first run, which needs two sets of pillars, you'll notice that we use one set of pillars for each new turn. We'll poke holes into the base, cut the straws accordingly, and attach the straws using a lot of the same methods. Feel free to pause, rewind, fast forward, or slow down this video at any point to make sure you can grasp all the concepts that we passed along to you. And remember, it's always got to stay sloped down. We're pretty proud of this coaster, so tune into the next video where you can see how we finish it off and test it out. So in short, once you have your base, you're just making some long railroad tracks, constructing some towers to connect them between, and making the adjustments along the way to make sure the ball flows down the coaster smoothly. Thanks a ton, friends. We hope you're excited to get to building. And if you're working as a team, please take advantage of the extra sets of hands and make sure everyone has a job to complete a successful project.